He's just impossible.
Naomi sighed, her cappuccino swirling in its ceramic mug.
Worse than yesterday?
Way worse. Today's highlight, Mr. Peters took credit for my entire marketing campaign.
Across the table, her friend Nancy raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow.
No way, the one with the social media blitz?
The one and only. He even reformatted my reports and put his name on them.
Nancy winced in sympathy.
That man is unbelievable. How do you even go back there every day?
Faith, I guess, and the hope that things will get better.
The office buzzed with the usual Monday morning frenzy. Naomi, however, felt a familiar dread creeping in as soon as she saw Mr. Peters striding across the floor, a stack of folders clutched in his hand.
Naomi, my office, now.
Inside his cramped, windowless office, Mr. Peters wasted no time.
These sales figures completely unacceptable.
He snarled, thrusting a spreadsheet towards her.
There seems to be some mistake, Mr. Peters.
Naomi began, but he cut her off with an impatient wave of his hand.
Don't waste my time with excuses. Just fix it. By tomorrow.
That night, Naomi found herself staring at two sets of spreadsheets on her computer screen. The one Mr. Peters gave her, full of errors and her own accurate version. The solution was simple, but the decision felt monumental. Naomi's finger hovered over the mouse. All she had to do was swap the files. Let Mr. Peters present the wrong numbers. He'd be the one facing the music then, not her. A wave of bitter satisfaction washed over her. But then a verse she'd read that morning echoed in her mind. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing. For to this you were called so that you may inherit a blessing. 1 Peter 3:9. Her hand trembled. Was she really willing to compromise her integrity, even if it meant enduring more of Mr. Peters' unfair treatment? Closing her eyes, Naomi took a deep breath.
No, I can't do it. It isn't who I am.
With a deep breath, Naomi opened her own file and began the tedious task of reconciling the discrepancies. It was late when she finally emailed the corrected spreadsheet to Mr. Peters, a silent prayer escaping her lips as she hit send. The next morning, Naomi walked into the office with a knot of anxiety in her stomach. She'd barely slept, dreading the potential fallout of her decision.
I could hardly close my eyes last night, worried about what might happen today.
The day, however, unfolded with an unexpected peace. Mr. Peters, to her surprise, made no mention of the corrected spreadsheet. He seemed quieter than usual, even a touch subdued. As the week progressed, Naomi noticed a subtle shift in Mr. Peters' demeanor. He was still demanding, yes, but the sharp edge in his voice had softened. He even acknowledged her work in a team meeting, a first in the history of their working relationship.
Good job on that report, Naomi. It was thorough.
One afternoon, while Naomi was organizing some files, she overheard Mr. Peters on the phone. He was talking about a close call with some inaccurate data, admitting that someone had saved him from making a grave error.
Yes, it was a close call. Someone caught the mistake just in time.
Naomi couldn't be sure, but she sensed he was talking about the spreadsheet incident. He never acknowledged her role, but something in his tone, a newfound humility, spoke volumes. The weeks that followed weren't a complete transformation, but they were different. The air in the office felt lighter. Mr. Peters, while still far from perfect, seemed to be making a conscious effort to be fairer, kinder even.
It's like a weight has been lifted. Things are different now.
Naomi realized that her decision, born from a place of faith and integrity, had planted a seed of change. She learned that sometimes the greatest victories are the silent ones, the ones that transform hearts, one quiet act of grace at a time.
Maybe, just maybe, this is the start of something better.
And in the quiet of her heart, Naomi knew that her faith had been her anchor in the storm. It had reminded her that true strength lies not in revenge, but in forgiveness and unwavering integrity. For in the words of Proverbs 11:3, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity.
The integrity of the upright guides them indeed. Story by Itohan Omaruyi,